Major silverware for Arsenal Football Club, the first of the season. It's not us. Some Arsenal fans are calling it silverware. They want to change it to the Super Cup. Two champions, of course. But anyway, we're here with Tosin, of course. Thank you for joining us, my man. Daps, Cass, and Ty. This is your evening debate on Never Foul. You know what to do. You hit the like button when you join this live debate. Everybody chilling, huh? Chilling.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I don't know about
chilling, man. I can't complain. I'm getting burnt though. I can't lie. I'm getting burnt up now, you know.
Tosin, welcome to Never Foul. That's your debut, of course.
Cheers, thank you.
And you come in on the channel when you're winning against Man City.
Yeah.
Wait, can we call it a win? Can we really call it a win?
Yeah, we can.
Well,
we can. It's
a win is a win.
It's a win. It's a win.
Let
Let me, as a City fan.
If we won on penalties today, would you say it's not a
No,
win? Now?
because you know what it is? If there was extra time, cool. Like it was just, but it went straight to penalties, innit? And I just look at it as a draw a little bit. And
Do you know what? Arsenal need to see it as a win?
from.
Arsenal need to see it as a win, yeah, for me, because at 1-0 down, it was an L, and they played till the end, and they got they stayed in it, and they kept believing, yeah. So for me, they've got to take a W out of it. It was a W, innit? It is what it is.
I agree. I'm taking it, bro. I don't know about the major silverware shout. That stuff is just all like it's not major silverware.
And don't lie, this is all you're gonna get this season. So you might as well live, eat, and
Just
breathe.
take it and run, bro. Just take it and run.
We'll see.
It's a plate to eat your food on, innit? Now, can you get the food to eat?
We'll see.
You know what? Do you know what it is? Yeah, it's a win, yeah, because they've obviously won the Community Shield. Do you know what I think it is though? It's actually a win more mentally.
Yeah, 100. That's what I said, Bob. That's what I said out of this. I said that, look, we lost the last 2 years. We lost the Community Shield the last 2 years, yeah? So it's not so much about City losing it, even more so when it's on penalties. But I think the title race will be between City and Arsenal can now go into it saying, do you know what? We've got close but never beat them. We haven't drawn with them for a while. Today, even if you want to see it as a draw, they drew, but ultimately they then had the mentality to go and win it on penalties. So it's a win for them.
And score and do the thing as well where it's 1-0. You're playing against Man City, right? You could say one of the best teams and seeing it out stylistically, the way you keep the ball and stuff. For Arsenal to carry on going until the 90 plus, I was tuned in from Spain. I saw like 90 plus 11. For them to keep going and score in the last minute, I feel like that's a nice, satisfactory feeling.
100, bro. 100.
A lot of teams in it, Daps. A lot of teams could just say, you know what, we're not going to score against City. They'll see it out. But no, they just went on, and then that kind of gave them momentum to go into the penalties as well. Which I'm thinking, Tosin, you must have been glad about that because 90-11 to score in a Community Shield / final, whatever you want to call it, that shows that your boys kept going until the final.
100. I love the perseverance character. And what you got to do, just compare this to the FA Cup when we lost to Man City at the Etihad earlier this year. It's like for the last 10 to 15 minutes, City were just playing the pinball and we couldn't really do anything. We brought on subs, but the subs made no difference. Right? Whereas the subs we brought on actually made a difference today. So
yeah, do you know what? So the first thing I take from this is, and I've been speaking. I've been speaking about this the last couple of days about how I felt that Trossard, Martinelli, and Saka would offer more because of the fluidity. Trossard's had a good pre-season. Trossard, when he played for Brighton at the start of last season, gave us I think he scored against us. And then for Arsenal in the FA Cup, he in the first half was dope against us. Then Arteta took him off, and then Arteta didn't play him in the 2 league games. Now, all right, I get that the goal was 2 deflections, yeah, but guess what? In the 101st minute, he believed in himself to shoot, right? Exactly. And just that one thing is like Arteta needs to believe in Trossard more because I think Trossard he's massive for Arsenal. I really think he's bigger than people think.
I think he is as well. Yeah. I think he is as well. But like, I expected him to start today. I expected Nketiah to start because he's an Arteta favorite. I did not expect to see Havertz play the false 9 type of role because all
Thank you. I'll take that 1-0 to me. Thanks. Not against you, but just against the comments.
Yeah. All pre-season, I've not really seen Havertz used in the false nine role. We've seen Nketiah use a striker, Gabby Jesus use a striker, and Trossard has started there. So I was surprised to see Havertz there. But I think Trossard, I agree with you. I think he's going to force. I was saying it to other fans. I'm like, he's going to force his way into the team. He's going to dislodge someone if he just continues playing like that. The guy is just too good. He's going to really be a surprise package for us this season.
Yeah, hold on. What did you just say? Someone. Let me ask him this quickly, Mo.
Sorry. You're talking about Trossard or Havertz?
Trossard. If he's saying Trossard is going to dislodge someone, yeah, it's going to be Saka's on the right. He's locked that in. You've got Jesus, who's your main number 9. You've got Martinelli at the moment on the left. Who do you see him dislodging? Because it ain't going to be Saka, so it's got to be one of Martinelli or Jesus.
Nah, he could dislodge Jesus as well. He could dislodge Jesus. He could dislodge Martinelli, and he could dislodge the left-sided 8, depending on who we're playing.
Okay.
Because during pre-season, he started off in the left, even when he started striker. But what he did with Havertz is he had interchange, and he dropped into that 8 role. And the guy is so good. Like I said it during the week. I think I'm not trying to say he's on Santi levels or Alexander Hleb levels, but his playing style reminds of these guys. Very good on the ball.
Hleb is a great shout. That's a
great dribbler. Great retention of the ball. He doesn't waste possession. Really good in tight spaces. The guy is just really, really good. So I can see him. And in striker, if people forget, but when Jesus came back into the team last season, it didn't really look like we missed him. And Nketiah did a decent job for a while. But when Trossard went in there, it was beautiful because he didn't really stay there. Allowed Martinelli to come inside. He'd go. It was a nice change for us. When our style of play was getting stale midway through the season. So I think if Jesus really isn't on it, Trossard could dislodge him.
I can't lie. I can't lie.
There's no reason why he can't. He could get it 8 striker or that left if Martinelli's not on it. I think he can do it.
Yeah. I can't lie. Yeah, I can't find a negative for either team. I know there's going to be shouts about Martinelli. He didn't do anything, but in fairness, you came up against Kyle Walker. Like it's not like it's a new thing for Kyle Walker to lock up no winger in the world. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna say he needs to be benched for Trossard. Trossard maybe deserve game. I'm gonna be praised again. There's another guy. I can't believe I'm about to do this. I think Saliba's generational, man.
Oh yeah,
Saliba's good. Saliba's
good. No. Hear what I say again.
Class.
I don't say this about a lot of players. I think Saliba is a generational centre back, and he was his first time, I think, coming up against Haaland.
Yeah, it was, I think. Yeah.
And Haaland, I don't think even had a shot or a sniff, and he done very well on a 1v1. And another guy I want to mention, Kai Havertz, man. He was the only guy running in behind the City defense and trying to do something. Yes, he missed 2 chances. Oh yeah, and Timber. I was telling, me and Daps
was my man of the match.
Timber. Yeah, Timber was good as well.
Yeah, I can't lie. So I think
that's our starting it.
Stuff. Trust me, we're gonna probably do a whole monologue. But Kai Havertz was very, very good. Not actually, no, he was very good, not very, very good. And then even on the City side of things, I look towards City's players. Foden in that central role looked like for Gundo and made the difference. And Cole Palmer was bad, bro. I can't lie. The goal, but even past the goal, he was doing things that Cole Palmer doesn't really do. Like he wasn't rash or he wasn't, he was passing. He's a bit more greedy. I think that's even alluded to. Like, bro, he's picking out his moments. And there's probably a couple other players you can obviously pick out. Ramsdale was sick. Ortega was very
Ramsdale was good. You know what? I saw some people trying to be critical of Ramsdale based on, I think, someone on the goal. There's 1 or 2 things. Ramsdale made two or three massive saves. Ramsdale was good. I think for me, it was a great opening game of whether you call this a season or not. Yeah, for me, it is what it is. We lost. Yeah, we lost. Whether it's penalties or not, we lost. But I think this is probably the best Community Shield performance from City I've seen for the last 3 seasons. I think we performed better than we did last year or the season before. But I've just got, I think predominantly, first half, I think Arsenal probably had more clear-cut chances. There was an Alvarez header he should have finished for me. Should have done better with the header. But yeah, I can't really... who do I want to criticise right, actually, I can. It's just taught me one thing that I already knew. When it comes to penalties, And I said to Cass, when I said about the penalties, I said,
Yeah,
I don't want to see any of my experienced people we think we can rely on take penalties, because it's just this weird thing with City. Aguero used to miss penalties. Haaland
he was living in the future, bro. He was living in the future. He said 2 names he's going to miss penalties, and he missed it.
Bro, it's mad, because I look at the players that you think will be clinical in front of goal for City, and it's this weird history we've got that they're never clinical on penalties, right? And then Vieira steps up with an absolute peach of a penalty and puts it in the top corner. So it kind of taught me nothing, that ultimately we're very bad at penalties. I don't know what is going on. We're shocking at them. But as far as the game, my positives are Foden coming on and playing in that deeper 8 role, press resistant, the way he turned, drove, and then pinged the ball out to Cole Palmer. And Cole Palmer is, City came out about a week ago and said, we're not going to let Cole Palmer go unless we get a Mahrez replacement. And the truth is that Cole Palmer, from the minute I saw him, is this one player that almost says to Pep, yeah, I get you like ball retention, but sometimes I'm just going to put my foot through it, mate. And I don't care if I'm 18, 19 or 20. I believe in myself. Like, his first goal for City was scored exactly like that. I had De Bruyne one side, Mahrez on the other, shouting for the ball, and Cole Palmer goes, no, in the Carabao Cup, put his foot through it. And again, I think I can see why he could be a potential Mahrez replacement over a long period of time. So that was good. And I also think as well that Kovacic will never be a Gundogan, right? Kovacic doesn't hit the box and get goals, right? And people that say, oh, can Pep bring that out of him? Probably not. But the one thing I would say is if Rodri needs to come off, I've got a lot more faith in Kovacic maybe going into a Rodri role and then Foden playing in the 8 next to him than I would Phillips going into a Rodri role and having like Foden next to him. So I don't know. I've seen some things, but it is what it is. It's an L, and the mentality thing will stick with me.
Yeah, guys, there's almost 1,000 people here, and we're not even on 200 likes. I think that's embarrassing. The likes are the bread and butter of this channel. Without the likes, the channel will never grow, will never go to new audience. But we're giving you free content here after the game. Just hit that like button. Get me at least to 300 likes, guys. Come on, this is embarrassing, to be honest. The like button look like this. It's free. It doesn't cost you a penny. So it's this content. So please.
If anyone's an Arsenal fan, it's respectfully as well, or just a fan of Tosin as well, in the description or in the pin is his channel. He is running content. You can see that he's making videos. So it's not a dead channel. He's not like he's just left it for a year. It's there. So make sure you go and subscribe over there. And also, guys, look, I've seen a couple of you as well. It's not a shameless plug because it's part of the channel. If you want to become a member, you want to become a part of this panel per week, go and buy the membership. Check the membership out. There's a silver tier and then there's gold tier. We're going to be running members on our show, not a call-in show. Like we're talking now, you have a chance, like on a Sunday night, like tonight, that you have a chance that we'll select you, 3 of you, by the way, per week, that you can come and talk with all of us, me, Ty, Mo, and Daps. So if you want to become a member, check out the membership also in the description, or just go on to Never Foul. There's different perks like the FPL League and also a WhatsApp group if you're a gold member. So yeah, just thought I'd put it out there.
Okay, so let me. I want to ask. Let me just say like one of the things. I know that everybody is going to say there's no negatives, positives, and stuff. I think Arsenal can take a lot of positives and negatives from this game. But Man City, I think Pep Guardiola was experimenting something. I don't think it worked, in my opinion. Like he tried something a little bit new today, right? And I think. For him, he took the game seriously. I thought the players actually wanted to win. Everybody wanted to win, wanted to play. But for the coach, for his outside, I thought there's a lot of instructions, and he wanted to try something. He wanted to try this pivot thing with 2 forwards behind each other, with still 4 center backs. Because I still consider Walker a center back, in my opinion.
Oh, he is.
Exactly. A little bit of. He is kind of like more. Let me just put it out there. Walker is 80% defensively and 20% offensive player. So I will consider him off the back line. He isn't a Cancelo. He isn't someone who runs forward and be creative. Anyway, that didn't work. For City, this is the only thing that in the game that I saw. Like he's trying something. It didn't work because I didn't think that. I think Haaland was really disjointed from the rest of the team. So was Grealish, by the way. He had to come deep to get the ball. He tried so many times to come very deep next to Kovacic to get the ball. So I think it didn't work for him. For Arsenal, Cass, you give props to Kai Havertz, and I think because of the movement, any professional player who had 5 first-team seasons should make these movements. His touch wasn't good enough. He's so weak. His body language isn't there. He's lazy guy. He is pressing wrong. I think Kai Havertz, again, you had 2 chances falling to you as a striker. You didn't bury them. Arsenal should have been winning 2-0. Should have been winning 2-0.
The first one
he should absolutely score.
The second one, the first one, you got to admit, like, his touch was awful, don't get me wrong, but you got the shot, and Ortega's reading of that was very good. You can't. The thing is, I don't want to be negative. I don't want to put negatives on either thing. I think the thing is, it looks negative, but you got to look at it as 2 sick teams coming up against each other and nullifying one another. That's why we didn't see shots from either side. That's why you didn't see full saves, really. Ramsdale did come with some clutch saves as well. Ortega did too. And I just think Havertz, another strike on another day, we would have criticized them, but because it's Havertz, it'll be easy to allude to. How good is City's back line? And how good, and how you can even look at towards your team. Like, how many chances did you get in the final to really bury something?
Not a lot.
What you got to look at is this. We went to Etihad, got pumped 4-1, and our best striker couldn't get a sniff. We played Man City, got beat 3-1 at the Emirates. And at the time, Jesus was injured, but Eddie could barely get a sniff. Yeah, he got in behind that one time, caused the penalty. The fact of the matter is, yes, Havertz definitely, with the second one, he should do better. The first one, that's a bit harsh. The touch is a bit flat, but he still does well to get the shot away.
He had a lot of bodies in front of him as well.
Yeah, I think the fact is, like, the guy's movement, you can see why Arteta's bought him. His movement is going to be really important. I think he's got to score his chances, but I think what you're saying is harsh, man.
I think he's battling back as well, to be fair today.
Listen, Tosin, let me ask you something. What's his rank in terms of having a striker, a number 9? What's his rank?
He's not a number 9, dude. He's not a number 9.
And he plays as a number 9. So I'm sitting here criticizing. I'm sitting here criticizing someone who played the number 9, not someone who played in the midfield, not someone who played on the left wing. I am criticizing someone. Listen, everyone else, in my opinion, did their job. I think Kai Havertz today, if you had another striker, you might have won the game early, not tied the game. I know that you think this is an agenda and anything. I don't think the guy has provided enough evidence today. I thought if Trossard, if Etihad was there, the movement, anybody. Listen,
no. But you say, but who makes the same movement as Kai Havertz to do that? Like
Gabriel Jesus, Trossard will make the same movement. In my opinion, Martinelli will make the same movement if he plays a striker and Trossard plays the left.
It has to be Martinelli. He can't.
Jesus spends a lot of time outside of the box, which is crazy. He's our main striker. Havertz, every time you've seen him in pre-season and even in this Man City game, the guy is getting himself in goal-scoring positions. That's why he's been bought, right? And fair enough, his conversion, I agree with you, the conversion. He should score goals. But I can't fault him for his effort today with the team.
No, I agree with the effort, definitely, as well. I think he was actually battling back.
A for effort. You know what? I can get a lot of players that will A for effort. I can get a lot of players in the world that will run, will try their best. I don't know if you can, to be fair. Listen, I used to tell a lot of people, sometimes your best isn't enough. And I think at the moment, Kai Havertz's best effort is not enough for Arsenal Football Club or want to win the league.
Well, I'm not a fan of Havertz. I've been very clear, my views on Havertz. I don't think Havertz was bad today. I'm
not yet. I am not changing my opinion yet. He might, right? I saw glimpses. At the moment, I saw the movement. Good, I'll give him that. But at the moment, Kai Havertz is not good enough for Arsenal Football Club. It's as simple as that.
Well, I mean, Ty, do you not agree? Go on, Ty. Sorry, Ty, it's not coming for your mic, by the way.
Oh, is it not? Bless up.
No. I was gonna say
it looks good in that, but.
Yeah, it looks good in that. Like, I know you're trying to show off your muscles. Like, calm, I get it, innit? I need to go to the gym, innit? Like, I get it. Like,
you joke, and I big up for that, Cass. It's working
out. That's better. Yeah.
Big up you, man. But you know what, Mo? Yeah, I love how you stand strong on what you're saying, but if you're saying that he's not good enough to be in this Arsenal team, I do think that's over the top because Arsenal are going to be competing for 4 trophies. Not everyone has to be a 9 or 10 out of 10. Man United, when we grew up, we had players like the Darren Fletchers that are not 10 out of 10s, but they can give you the 7 or 7.5s and they're important for the squad. Now, if you look at Kai Havertz, like Tosin's saying, yeah, he's not a number 9, but you're judging him because he played as a number 9, which I get. But if you look at what Havertz is going to do in terms of the overall season, he will have an important part to play because he can play the false 9, he can play the number 8, he can play the number 10 if you want to call it that. But that's a good player that you need in the squad. So I think it's quite harsh to say that he's not good enough for Arsenal Football Club because look, there's players out there still that have got new deals, like a Reece Nelson, who I think can be good at a mid-table Premier League club. I don't think he's going to be able to make it at Arsenal. So when you look at like Havertz and you look at squad players, he is one of the better squad players, especially for.
Can I ask you? Sorry, Tos. I'm gonna respond. I'm gonna ask a question. Sorry, Tos. I'm gonna put a statement out there. I get it. All what you say, Ty, is based on what you saw from Kai Havertz 4 years ago at Leverkusen. The last 3 years doesn't tell us anything. So you're judging Kai Havertz on today. That's what you guys
hold on,
about.
We are currently talking about today's game.
And I started, I think, based on today, he isn't good enough.
Kane as well.
I'm going to
Tosin, go on.
I am not. I swear, you think I'm being shameless? I am not. I watched Havertz today. And I saw and I say if they had Eddie Nketiah probably up top, they would have been 1-0.
He wouldn't have got those chances because he wouldn't have made the move.
Exactly. So that's my problem with you guys. You guys think that nobody's gonna move like Kai Havertz.
No, I don't. I think Eddie Nketiah isn't going to move like him.
But what did Eddie play against Man City last season? How many times did he have that same movement Kai did? He didn't. He didn't.
He's a fox in the box. He scores. He's the guy you want.
He's a much better finisher, but he didn't. I think you're being harsh there. And by the way, I'm not judging Havertz based on Leverkusen. I was 50-50 on the signing, but I'm like, you know what? I'm going to trust my manager. If you are hungry to get this guy and pay 65 M's for him, there must be something Arteta sees that I don't. So I'm going to not focus. Okay, I get it. He had a terrible season last season. I'm just gonna look at him. Okay, show me what you're made of in preseason, and show me what you're made of when I see you. And from what I've seen so far, I like a lot of what. Of course, does he have to improve it in a lot of areas? Absolutely. But I like a lot of what I see in him.
And he's going to a different team, Tosin, that played different football. And also with Chelsea, no one really delivered other than Enzo really in the second half of the season. Let's be real.
And keep it buck.
People got to keep it. He's not bought to be like our 9, our striker. If anyone has seen us, this guy is going to be the difference maker in the games we should have drawn. He's not going to start for us.
So where does he play, Tosin? Where is his position on the pitch?
I think today we saw. Sorry? I think we saw our best 11 minus Havertz. I think when Jesus comes back, Jesus will play in that role, and that's going to be our starting 11 for the big games. I think in the smaller games like a Nottingham Forest, when teams come to the Emirates and sit deep against us, you will 100% see Havertz play in that left-sided 8 role, right? But if you watch him there, he starts there, but he doesn't stay there. He essentially is just operating just outside of the box or inside the box. And you're going to get someone else covering the spaces, probably inverted Timber or Zinchenko when he's fit. So that's what I think. I believe that's why we bought Havertz. I generally don't see him being a guy who's going to start these big pressure games for us if we have our strongest.
Never thought that.
Mo, let me just run these super chats quickly.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I'm just gonna run these super chats. So big up Faisal. He says Havertz's main job was breaking City's line, which you guys have said
and that's what Jesus does, to be fair. As well.
Yeah, which he just couldn't get. He couldn't get the ball in the back of the net. But actually, what you said in terms of his role, was right, Faisal. To be fair, thank you for the super chat, bro. Being Avishek says, if Kane stays this season and if Spurs sort their defense out in that Ange system, Kane will score more goals than Haaland, at least 5 to 10 more. We'll touch on Kane a bit later because I know he scored 4 goals today in a friendly. He waved.
They don't. People don't learn. All right.
just to be clear, last season, I know Haaland in the league scored only 6 more goals than Kane, but he played 600 minutes less. So just bear that in mind when you think about the Kane-Haaland numbers.
Tosin, I've got a question for you, right? You were linked to Mohamed Kudus, and you could say he's a bit similar to Havertz, can play sort of centrally a bit out wide and that false 9 role. He's going to Brighton for 40 million. You spent 65 million on Havertz.
That 1 million.
Who would you have rather taken, 40 million Kudus or 65 million Havertz?
Honestly, I would have taken Kudus. If you ask me,
fair.
I would have taken him. I was surprised by the Havertz, but I'm like, I guess Arteta really wants him because the way the interest came and the speed at which we got the deal done, I'm like, like Arteta, you must have really wanted this guy. So I'm just gonna trust the gaffer. That's what I'm saying.
You know what? Yeah, the thing is, the only slack I'll give Havertz, the only slack, right, really is the fact that I think Arteta is a better coach than what they've had in the last 3 years. Frank Lampard. I don't actually rate Tuchel. I don't think he actually, when it comes to forwards, anyways, I think defense, you know, he's a good coach there in that department, but up front he's not. So if he can get that last touch out of him, then potentially. But you know what? Yeah, you know, I've got another part I'm gonna have to switch towards is see the battle when Zinchenko ends up coming back, right?
Timber starts personally.
Timber, Ben White versus Timber, who's going to start with which kind of battle is going to be very, very interesting. And another part I was going to allude to, which I want to talk about, I thought of one player that if you want to slate him and criticize, if you're looking for something to criticize today, because I'm finding very difficult on both sides in a way. Saka was not good, really, if we're being totally honest, against the Kanji. And he was probably the worst player on the pitch for Arsenal.
Saka always starts off slow. That's normal.
You know what I'm saying? But I want to allude to Timber, yeah, because
guy's a baller.
Guy is a
been saying it, bro.
Baller.
He's gonna be our starting left back this season. And
that's the mad thing is that he can play left and right.
He's not going to take White's spot because White has got too much chemistry with Saka. I think you only see Timber play there when Zinchenko comes back and he wants to give White a rest. But I think you saw our starting back four, our strongest back four this season.
Well, I've been saying, yeah, Timber, like United have been interested in him. I'm sure there's many other teams in Europe interested in him. He was at Ajax, who are a good team, Champions League football anyway. I don't believe he's come to Arsenal just to be a backup. And even if Arteta's thought it's great to have backup, in Timber's head, he's like, I'm not backup. And just if you think he's new to the league and he's putting on performances like that when you see someone come in and put performances like that, and let's be clear, this is against Manchester City as well. Yeah. And he comes in, I swear at one point he was playing without a boot as well.
Do you know how mad it is there, Daps? What did we say? We said last week, we done a show tossing basically talking about like signings and who will have like the best signing impact of the season. And we were saying that even though Declan Rice obviously is an important player and you're going to see the best of him, I reckon, in second, third and fourth year at Arsenal, I said that Timber will actually have a better first season than what Rice will. That's what I personally think. I think the way you play, the footballing ability you have, the technical security, the comfortableness to play even left back, which I didn't really know he could do. Obviously, centre back and right back, I know about Timber. But I feel like for a first season, I think out of all your new signings, he's going to have the best first season.
And it's less pressure. The fact with Havertz and Rice have taken any pressure off of Timber. The pressure is very much on Havertz and Rice. Yeah. People, all eyes are on them. People are watching what Timber's doing. And the fact that ultimately people are saying, oh, you know, he's back up to Zinchenko. He's back up to Ben White means that there's no pressure on him.
Okay, so here's my problem with that. Timber was fantastic individually. Declan Rice wasn't bad. I think Partey was amazing. The problem with that lineup is that you basically have 4 center backs in the back and 2. One of them is a proper 6. One of them isn't an advanced 8. So you are isolating your offensive line. The difference between Rice and Xhaka is that Xhaka last year was really high on the pitch, was supporting the offensive line all the time. Rice isn't doing that at the moment. So you basically have 2 defensive midfielders and 4 center back. As good as that would look defensively, which you guys looked amazing defensively, going forward, you need to sacrifice something. To play 4 center backs, you'll need to sacrifice one of Rice and Partey, unless magically Rice becomes offensively. Okay. But my point is, unless Rice becomes suddenly offensively very effective.
He will be.
I think he can already.
Okay.
He will be. Rice and the beast that ball carrier.
That's my point.
One at a time, guys. One at a time.
I was just going to quickly say, because obviously Torsten's is actually the Arsenal fan, but I was going to say, you got to remember who they're playing. You know, fit or unfit, they were still playing Manchester City. You got to remember, this is Man City that barely concedes more than 2 goals per game, let alone 8 goals per game. Yeah, and also in another team that Arsenal side's annihilating people. Let's be real, it was just a more tactical setup battle. That's why it was a bit clusterfucked in the middle, if I can say like that.
The best games, Cass, if it's 2 top teams in the games 0-0 or 1-1, that shows the standards of the game. It's not 4-3.
So how is the lineup
0-0 or 1-1?
Hold on. Let's let Tosin land. Let's let Tosin land. Go.
So what I was gonna say is, oh man, I lost my point. But Rice, most of the game, the 3 people pressing, like the highest up the pitch, were Rice, Ødegaard, and Havertz. So in terms of what you mentioned about Xhaka, I don't really see much difference between each player's starting position. That's what Xhaka was doing for us last season. And plus, the guy needs time to get used to the system. We bought Rice. What are Rice's strengths? The guy, he's very agile. He's great at interceptions and ball recoveries, and he can drive with the ball. I think that's an aspect of his game that he's very good at, that he does a lot for England, but he's played at a lower quality with West Ham, with all due respect to West Ham, way lower quality team. He's going to have a coach now that's going to help him harness and hone that. I think we're going to see the best of Rice probably towards the second half of the season, but he just needs time. I personally thought he had a good game today, and that's how I see it. And plus, if you actually look at Arsenal, I personally believe this was our best defensive performance that I've seen so far in pre-season, right?
100%.
Yeah.
Most of pre-season, we've actually been scoring goals, but we've been very, very open at the back. But the mad thing is we played a team like Man City, and what we put out in midfield allowed us to actually have a lot of penetration in the final third, but we were quite solid. So I'm not mad at what I saw today, to be honest. I'm not mad at it at all.
That's the same with me. From me as a City point of view, I think Arsenal played well. I think at one point City started getting to grips with it, but like I said, first half I think Arsenal had probably the better of the chances. I also think we have to speak on it real quick. I think the refereeing today, and to be fair, a lot of the decisions went in City's favour. But like at half time, I think there'd been 4 yellow cards. There hadn't been one, for me, bad challenge. There hadn't been one goal scoring opportunity stopped. And it was just, and by the looks of it, it's that the referees want to come down and they want to let the players know who's boss. And even the commentators were backing them, which I think's insane, because I'm looking at thinking this is going to be a real problem this season. Like, there's going to be red cards all over the gaff. For like, at one point, a player was given, I think 2 players, in fact, one for Arsenal, one for City, were given yellow cards for a foul in their own half that was just a tug of the shirt. Now, if it's a tug of the shirt around the centre, around the halfway line, where if the player gets past, he's through on goal, I get it. But if there's multiple bodies between him and the goal in your own half, that's not a yellow, man. And even the Arteta yellow, because Arteta was a bit irritated. Come on, man. I think this is a worry for me. A real worry.
So my point about the referee is that this guy, Stuart Atwell, only gave yellow cards to players who don't talk back. So the player he chose from City to give a yellow card to is Alvarez, the smaller, but he didn't give yellow cards to the other guy, the bigger personality. You know what I mean? Alvarez is still a young player, isn't like the other guys. Yeah. The goal that Man City scored, as brilliant as Foden did, right? Partey was instructed to follow Foden all the way. He's not going to do that from his mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Foden, as brilliant as he's pinned him, if Partey doesn't have a yellow card, what would he do?
Pull him back.
Pull him down. Yeah. Because he got beat on the turn, right? Yeah, which is what Rodri did a couple of times, and he did last season. Yeah. Remember, for Gakpo a couple of times in Liverpool game, and he didn't get a yellow card. You need to be consistent. It's not against Man City, not against Man City. No, he chose to give Partey a yellow card because Partey is a kind of a calm guy. You know what I mean? He didn't talk back.
You think it's that reason?
Stuart Atwell has a problem with this all the time. He targets players. Because Rodri did the same exact thing as Partey twice and didn't get a yellow card. But Julian Alvarez had a single foul, and he chose to give him the yellow card to calm down the Arsenal people. I'm like, what? Julian Alvarez, the foul he did is nothing.
Yeah, it was
nothing.
It's just overall for me. What worries me is that going into the season, it just looks like referees once again by the FA have been told to basically be like them school teachers, them feds that literally are power hungry, where they're just giving out yellow cards, and it's mad because they want the game. This whole ruling where they want the games to be 45 minutes, but then they're doing that. It's like it's not working together. You're trying to break up. Right? You're trying to break up the game, and then you're saying, but the game needs to go on for longer. It's like, well, if you don't break up the game, that won't happen.
Yeah.
It's just to be honest, people want to say he kicked the ball away. Thomas Partey kicked it like 5 yards.
It was stupid.
5 yards, bro.
And Alvarez kicked it off the pitch, which was right next to him as well, and he gave a yellow. I was thinking, what are you doing?
Got a yellow for doing this.
Come on.
Yeah, Arteta's was mental, bro. Arteta's was insane, man.
But this is what the new rules they've introduced, I guess. So like,
it's not that they're not looking. Do you know that the handball rule? They were backing it. The commentators were backing it, but the handball rule has not been touched. The handball rule stays exactly the same, yeah, but they've gone and put these weird ones. It's like the handball rule needs addressing.
Casemiro's getting sent off 5 times this season, guaranteed.
Yeah.
Guaranteed. Oh, guys, by the way, there's over 1,400 of you in here. We are on 413 likes. If some of you took some of your time, 2 minutes, not even 2 minutes, should I say even 2 seconds, to exit your live chats, you know what the exit button is, and like the video, it pushes to the next person. And also that might mean an extra subscriber for Tosin as well, which is description, and also in the pinned, you can find his channel. Arsenal fan, no, it's not Toby, it's his brother. And I don't know about this cousin stuff or whatever it is, or whatever it is.
Whitney's not my cousin. She's my sister-in-law. She's my wife's sister.
Do you know, I was just watching the reunion thing. I was going to chat to you about it off air, and I thought someone just left in the comments.
Love Island people. Love Island stardom. There you go.
But anyway, what's it called? Tosin, I want to ask you.
Hold on, Mo. Let
I want to tell the people something. I want before you go on the football.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you a question about Arsenal. Go on, Mo.
Everybody in the chat, I need you now to tell me where are you tuning from? Just one word, the country you're tuning from in the chat. I want the chat to run with some countries. Please do that for me.
Yeah, do some.
Please do. Big up Hit 44 as well with the super chat. It says Havertz was better than Saka and Martinelli today, which is not a bad argument to have, really. Obviously, they're not better. He's not a better player.
They always start the season slow. Saka and Martinelli. Saka started slow last season, ended our joint top scorer. Martinelli also started slow, ended our joint top scorer. Like this is normal.
Kazakhstan.
You know what I want to ask you, Tosin, because
by the way,
going away from today.
Hold on,
there's another one.
Finish off the super chats here.
There's 3 more and a member.
Cass, you run the super chats, then I'll do.
All right, Micah says Kane or Salah to score 35 plus Prem goals next season.
Nope.
Don't overrate Kane now, man. Don't give me this.
What? So Haaland's the only player that scored 35.
Actually, you know what? I'm not going to play past him. I forgot they got Maddison. They were burying stuff today. Appreciate how unbiased Daps is from Mr. BP. I'm not saying your name, by the way. And also, I said, and happy birthday, Tosin. And it's your birthday.
Your birthday?
My birthday like 3 weeks ago.
Bro, Tobes got this on Big Six the other day by the same person. By the same person. It was the same person.
Yeah, and big up Elisa Isaac as well for becoming a new gold tier member as well. If you want the code to the FPL, it's in the community members post on Never a Foul, or just message Never a Foul himself, and I'll tell you the code, or one of us will, anyways. And you can join the membership in the description if you're interested. All the support is amazing these few weeks or so, man. But yeah, go on. Sorry,
love that. No, that's cool. Big up everyone that's watching. Make sure you smashing that like button, man. Get us to 500 real quick if you just do it right now. Tosin, we were talking, obviously from today, the real stuff starts next week. Let's be real. Like today's today, but we are going to be from tomorrow. Everyone's going to be talking about, Burnley playing Man City on Friday and so forth. Your first 7 games, I'm sure you've looked at the fixtures. You play Man United at home and you play Tottenham at home. Other than that, I think it's a run that personally you can win 7 from 7, including beating us, Man United, me and Cass's team. Are you not, I'm not going to say worried. Are you like pressuring your team to say, right, you've got 7 games that you can win. And if you want to be serious about winning this Premier League, like you did last season when you started sharp, you have to capitalize on this run, because City also have a very good run as well. You need to start well. Do you think you can get 7 from 7, or how are you looking at these games and how many points you can get from it? I'm intrigued.
I looked at it 2 days ago. Maybe this is me being confident or overconfident, but I believe we can get 7 out of 7.
I do. I'm glad you said it. I'm glad you said it. Yeah,
I believe we can, and I honestly believe we will. Like, because I'll be honest, like based on what I've seen pre-season, we've been trying. Arteta, I like the fact that he's been trying a lot of different things. So we've seen a lot more chopping and changing with the teams and with the systems compared to last season's pre-season. But and I thought in my mind, because of that, it's going to mean we're probably going to have a few disjointed performances going into the start of the season. But the City game helped me say, okay, he's cooking something. And plus, looking at the games we got, even if we're still experimenting, I think we still got enough quality in our team to beat these teams. And then the big games against Tottenham and Man United, I think we're going to stick it on. I think we're going to beat them.
They're both at the Emirates, which I think helps you.
I think we're going to beat them. I think we'll beat them. And I can see us. I know Ange is a good manager, and I expect Spurs to be a lot more difficult to play against. But I think we beat them.
Yeah. Do you know what? Look, I'll just give me. I've spoken Arsenal a lot, but look, we all know that Arsenal at the back end of last season, they got some bad results. In truth be, I think most of their bad results were actually draws, right? They weren't losses. Yeah, they were draws. And truth be told, a player was missing, right? Saliba was missing. We have to be clear with this, yeah? The season's over. It's done. It's ended. It's parked up, yeah? Saliba was missing. He came in today and he looked good. Arsenal, I don't expect to drop off. They've got better. They've improved in their depth. Timber's definitely better. I think today Odegaard was good again, by the way. There was one point where Odegaard, something he did, which Cass loved it. He took on Grealish, right? He skinned Grealish. But the beauty of it was...
Kova.
Well, oh, sorry, was it Kova? But what he did is that I really liked is he skinned Grealish, yeah? But then the pass he made was very simple afterwards. And to me, that's a sign of a baller, that he doesn't have to go and do something else special. It's like, now we keep it ticking. Now, I think Arsenal will start off well. And I think, look, I've been asked if I lose sleep over losing the Community Shield today. And I said, I won't. However, I will be honest, because I said it in the FA Cup, when we played during the FA Cup before the 2 league games, that psychologically Arsenal need to prove to themselves that they can beat Manchester City, right? Yeah. Otherwise, they'll be going into the season going 6 points this season we're losing, right? They're now going into it going, however we start, you know what, we do have more self-belief against Manchester City that we can get something against them. So for me, I don't really see negatives from Arsenal, because I think you're also right. Trossard playing in the 8 role and whatever through pre-season, he's trying new things, but today he went to what we all think, Partey, Odegaard, Rice, which we all think is the best midfield. It was, for me, probably the best Arsenal team without Jesus, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe.
No.
And as for City, I'll be honest, I think Alvarez today worked really hard, was good.
It wasn't bad.
That header he should have scored, man. I'll be honest.
Let me ask you. Can I ask you that? Because I never asked you off air. Does City need a winger? Or are you going to believe in the Paul Palmer? Or even if Paul Palmer stays, do you still need a winger regardless?
If I'm Pep and looking at it, I think so far Cover's left. Gundo's left. We brought in Cover. Mahrez is left. We've brought in another defender. Laporte will probably go. So we're 1 player down at the moment for me. If Cancelo goes as well, that's 2 players down on the squad that we ended last season with. So for me, we must, because Cole Palmer was part of the squad last year. It's not like Cole Palmer's a new addition.
If Foden goes into the middle, if Foden ends up transitioning into that middle part, then you're lacking maybe whatever kind of sided winger, whatever Pep decides he wants to go with next season, right?
It does make sense with what I heard. I heard that off of a fairly reliable source that City, after Gvardiol, wanted 2 more players, and if Walker stays, it will be 2 more. If Walker goes, it's 3 more players, right? So 2 more players due to income at City. And watching it today, I'd probably say, yeah, that makes sense to me, to be honest with you. So, but at the same time, I'd also look at it and say, if we don't get them, are we ready to go again? We'll go again, but. Of course,
I'd like to see you with another winger, Daps. I'll be raw. I think Cole Palmer is obviously a potential squad addition.
He's raw, bro. He's still raw.
He's raw. Do you know what I mean? He's raw. I look at Phil Foden, and I've always agreed with you in terms of I think Phil Foden would be great as a number 8. De Bruyne, obviously, he's going to play, but I feel like his minutes will be more measured this time. And you've got Jack Grealish, obviously, he's locked down the left-hand side. And then you've got Alvarez, who's a bit like Jesus in terms of he can play on the wing if he needs him to, and he can play up front, obviously, if he needs him to. But I feel like in terms of like natural wingers, when I'm talking like Michael Elise, which is one of the ones you're linked to, for example, he's like, he comes in and what's his actual starred position? It's actually right wing. It's a natural wing berth. Riyad Mahrez, natural wing berth. Jack Grealish, yes, he plays on the left, but we've seen him for Aston Villa when he used to roam in the number 10 and come in number 8 and drive with the ball and win fouls. I feel like with Man City, you just need a proper winger that when they come in, you just think, right, he's just a winger. Like he's not having to be paid in 10 or 8. He's just coming in to play wing. And it doesn't mean, like a Sane, and it doesn't mean, Tosin, that these players have to start every game. What it does, it just gives City and also Pep Guardiola options of changing up things when games get difficult, because every game's different. You might go to Brentford away and you might need a bit of that. You might play someone at home and you might need a bit of that. And it's just Champions League as well.
Listen, there's a thing called injuries.
And injuries. There you go, and injuries, bro.
Even with Arsenal, with any team, people will go about best 11. But the truth is, let's not talk about physique, fitness, any of that, people get injured, bro.
Exactly.
Like players get injured. We don't know. Haaland could get injured next week. Anyone could get injured. Like, so we have to, I think that's what I rate about what Arteta has done this summer with Arsenal. He's gone to the board and he's said, look, if you want us to challenge again next season and get it over the line, some holes still need to be filled. They're not like gaping holes like Liverpool's DM role, but they're holes that need to be filled. And I think at City, it's the same.
That being said, though, if I can say a negative, what I did think, there were lots of positives today for Arsenal, but I do think the gap between us and City is closing. But I think today showed there's still a gap because you could afford to not play KDB, who destroyed us at the Emirates, destroyed us at Etihad. You could afford to bench him and still...
No, he's injured. He's not fit, bro. Not fit.
Still, but you could afford to not start with him and you were competing with us. Whereas if I think about the equivalent of him in our team, we couldn't, like, there's no way we can play this game without Martin Odegaard. No chance. There's no
I hear
way
you, but do you know what? For me, I hear you on that, bro.
Saka was pants, to be honest. He was pants. But
I was surprised he stayed on for as long as he did as well.
I'm not surprised because that's how it's going to go this season. I already saw what's going to happen. I already saw what's going to happen this season. It's the same as always seasons. I don't see another winger book, what we're going to do, we're going to play this guy into the ground and he's going to have our highest number of appearances by the end of the season. It always happens. Yeah. So that's why I'm saying the gap is closing, but there's still work to be done because City could bring on could play like an Alvarez or something. We can't afford to not play Odegaard and Saka. And I think there's where City still have that slight advantage, despite the fact that they need a winger like this.
And do you know what, Tosin, yeah? Is that where Arsenal lack? Because I think you've got a Trossard who can play left and he can play centrally. You've got Martinelli, you've got Havertz and all these players. But we were talking about Saka, and obviously he plays a lot of games. Reece Nelson at the moment, I'd put down as his number 2 because he's the natural right winger. I don't think he's good enough. Would you like to see Arsenal...
doesn't trust him.
Yeah, would you like to see Arsenal in the next 12 months go out and get another right winger that can play if Saka... Imagine Saka's out for 4 months. Do you want someone who's competent enough to come in and secure and lock in?
I don't know why. Why are we not moving for Kudus? Why are we not moving? Even the guy that AC Milan signed, the guy from Villarreal, Chukwueze. La Liga. I saw him destroy Real Madrid. Why are we not going for players like that? I don't get it. I think I like what we're doing with Ramsdale, but I think Arteta, he's got a ruthless streak in him. But with this Saka thing, this has been a thing for like the past 4 seasons.
Yeah, it has been.
Yeah, it has.
It keeps costing us season after season. You know he's going to turn up. You know he's going to be good. You know he's going to play himself into a position where he becomes unplayable. But no one can do that, where he can play every single game.
And now you're back in the Champions League, bro.
He's only 22. I need to see another right winger.
Do you know what?
Yeah, I agree.
You're right, because this is one of the things that I've kind of been, when I've been a bit critical of Calvin Phillips, that we've been very lucky with how injury-free Rodri has been, right? But at some point, no players go through their career without getting a bit of a... And this is where I kind of today think, do you know what? I think Cover could come in, and the way Cover can keep hold of the ball. I'm not saying Cover can do what Rodri does.
He's class. He's technically
secure. I'd be far more comfortable with Cover playing in a 6 role than I would Phillips playing there. And that's where last season when Phillips wasn't fit and couldn't come in. But
great Calvin Phillips. That's mad.
Bro, I'm just being real. I want him to succeed, bro. I do, but I can't. I have to talk on what I've seen.
I'm trying, bro. I'm trying,
bro. Trust me. I'm trying to be that positive City guy that doesn't do. But I'm trying my hardest. But I'll be real. He just doesn't look like he gets it. And I think the Saka thing is weird when you deep it, because it is 3-4 seasons of him doing the same thing with constantly. And I get how good Saka is, but it's like, look after the guy, because
he could be burnt out by February. And that's not even Saka's fault. Like, I'm talking.
I'm even thinking
longer term,
100%, bro.
You know what I saw today from Arsenal was so good today, guys, is that, to be honest, the Arsenal that I saw today is the Arsenal that played the first 29 games in terms of passes, positioning on the pitch. It was the same. Now, if you bring back this and you have Saliba, and now you can bring Ben White to play center back, because now you have Timber to play right back as well, Zinchenko. If it's on Arteta now, you are the one who gave Eddie Nketiah a contract. You're the one who gave Reece Nelson a contract. So you see, as you, Tosin, said, he saw something in Havertz. He must have seen something in these guys. That's why he gave them contracts, right? It's on him now to not only coach 11 or 12 players like what he did last year. It's on him now to do the Pep thing, where you have 15, 16 players that you can rotate and they can play the same brand of football, and you have the same output that Pep has with different players. Mahrez, Bernardo, Foden. So that's what I'm looking to Arsenal to. It's not only 11, 12 players. Do it with 15, 16.
You know what my worry is, Mo? You know, and I think it's great that you say that.
Nelson's injured, by the way. So, yeah.
I know.
I'll do it quick, Tosin. I think that's a great point, Mo, yeah, because when you look at Nelson, who's potentially the second player coming in, how often is Saka really benched? And this is being honest, he's not really benched. He's going to play 90 minutes. And if Arsenal are going to try and do what they want to do, which is compete with Man City for the Premier League, Champions League, I know they haven't been in it for a while, but they'll like to get to a quarter-final, I believe. I think that's fair, if not a semi, if the draw's nice. When players like Reece Nelson or Eddie and Nketiah come in, they're not coming into an Arsenal team that's battling for a top 6 or top 4, and you can kind of get away with little performances. You've got to come in and you've got to kind of follow suit and just hit the ground running. And I think that's kind of a hard situation for Nelson and Nketiah, even though he done it in a small part when Jesus was out, of course. But say Nelson to come in and just say, right, perform straight away, because the Arsenal fans are going to have that expectation that they want to be competing, and the players are all going to be up to a level. So, like Tosin, if Nelson does come in and stuff, are you a bit worried that the minutes they're actually going to see, they're not going to be sharp enough or actually that ready? The hunger will be there, but are you worried about their ability being there straight away?
I mean, I don't think Arteta fully trusts Nelson. But one thing I will say is, even with the few minutes he got last season he looked good every time he came on. He really looked good. And I think honestly, before his performances last season, he was not getting a contract renewal. He played his way into a contract renewal. So, and plus, I've seen a lot this season that gives me a lot of faith going into the season that Arteta is actually gonna, because he's used a lot more players, a lot more variations in pre-season. So, and even he did it again. He did it in today's match as well. I did not expect for him to bring on Smith Rowe. I did not expect us to make all of those changes, and they made an impact on the team. Usually, it will just be like a Trossard sub. That's it. But the fact that he was brave enough to bring on Vieira, who I still think probably is not up to the level, it's encouraging. So I'm waiting to see what he does. I have faith he's going to rotate the squad more, and I have faith that maybe when Nelson plays, he's probably gonna play a bit more.
I can't lie, Nelson ain't getting a nod. I saw Smith Rowe get the nod, and I saw more in Smith Rowe this game in a small batch.
So much more physical, Bob.
Yeah, so much more physical. He looked more composed. He just looks like he's kind of full of confidence and ready to take someone's spot. I'll be honest.
Yeah, he's hungry.
Yeah, and you can see it. And I don't even want to. I don't want to look at it like we're gassing up Arsenal too much, because you know what, we're gassing Arsenal up, but we ain't really done much prop for even City at all. Or we just
I was gonna say that.
They were good. They dominated us the first 20 minutes.
After the first 15 minutes, I'm thinking this game's going to get long. And then Arsenal came back into it. But then the way City switched stuff up and kind of pushed Arsenal all the way back. The only last thing was just a little bit maybe lacking a crate. You could say they were a little bit unfit. I don't want to do Arsenal a disservice because it was a draw and it was penalties. Let's get it straight. It was draw and penalties. You know what I'm saying? So
you know what it is, Cass?
Record this like it's an Arsenal win, but they can take it as a win mentally. But the game itself, I'm just saying with City.
City are warming up. City are warming up.
Good win, but City are warming up. Look what happened with Liverpool last season.
City are warming up. That's what I think straight away. Like this is just like them getting minutes in the bank.
I found the press came back because before they've been a one man up top kind of press, then after it was two up top press, and they won the ball back very quick. This is why I say it was a cagey game and it was a clusterfuck in the middle. And that's why I'm just thinking like there's no prop on City yet. But this is what we used to doing for City, right? Is by giving them props. But if you want to talk about Arsenal being up there as the best and winning the league, then you have to put them on the same pedestal. This should be normal for them now, right? So that's why I say you have to kind of.
Do you know what is a City cast though?
Can I do something before we go on, please, guys? There's over 1,500 of you here. Hit that like button for us. Also, in the last part of the show, the next 20 minutes, get your questions in. Do the super chats if you want us to highlight it. The chat is going crazy now. So to highlight the question, you have to do the super chat. Also, check out the membership. In the description, 2 tiers. You get to be on a panel with us once a week. You get 3 chances for the gold members, and the silver one, you get 1 chance. So check out that membership. But the like button is very important. This is how this channel keeps going, getting you free content. It's the only way.
And it's my day job. So please.
For the record, it's a good win for us mentally, but City weren't bad today. City were good. it was an evenly contested match, to be honest. It could have gone.
Do you know what? I'll be real. It's probably
Haaland,
one of the.
Come on,
he's
going to cook this season.
But
I don't pay too much attention to what Saliba.
I don't play to this Haaland thing because last season in the Community Shield, I actually think it was one of the most competitive Community Shields I've seen for quite some time for me. I think Arsenal were probably. I came into this. People were asking me for a prediction. I can't because we've lost the last two. I do rate Arsenal despite what everyone thinks. You know my opinion with Arsenal's mentality at the back end of the season, yeah? That was my only issue with Arsenal, right? Apart from that, Arsenal were on 50 points at halfway line. So I'm not knocking Arsenal. With City, I guess I'm trying to look for a way to be critical. And people will say, Cover doesn't hit the box like Gundogan does. We know, right? I think we knew that when we bought him, yeah? And I'm not going to sit here when people are saying, do you think Pep can change him? I'm not sure. I think Pep knows when he's got him what Kovacic's strengths are. And I think that's why he's probably trying to fiddle about and see what else he can do. That might be why it's really important to bring in another winger. I think Bernardo Silva was good today, by the way. I think Bernardo Silva was very good. I'm not sure about playing Haaland and Alvarez up top together. To be frank with you, I'm not. I think maybe it's one body's too little for the way that City play. Let me do. Go ahead. What do you want to do, Mo?
No. Finish. I wanted you to finish. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was pretty much finished. So what you're doing?
Yeah. Let me do this couple of Spurs to finish above Chelsea. Better business, in my opinion. Yeah. I'm not sure if there's going to be time.
I can't lie. The Kane Maddison thing is real, bro. Let's be honest. Kane staying. It's Chelsea. Real, man. Shakhtar Donetsk are not one. Look, I'm not being funny. Shakhtar Donetsk has had the preseason. Go check it. I was doing little bits of research. They killed them, bro. They getting you can see it. I would even go watch some highlights.
Oh, do you know what that is? So that's interesting for England. That's
I actually watched the game. Actually,
Angeball's gonna pop.
I watched it. Did you guys watch it?
If they can get another defender, and or maybe even another.
They're in for Laporte, apparently, aren't they?
You dodgy, bro. Did you see your dodgy today, Cass? How he moves on the line behind Son.
Oh my god! Highlights. I'm gonna be real.
I watched the game.
Once Benton could back with Basuma and Maddison, that's a bad boy midfield.
But even Sarr and Højbjerg looked okay in the middle. Like
I sleep on Spurs.
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
Anyway,
but,
so another one.
Go on.
Then you got if Aki was playing that Equiliver never happens. I think they're just lucky. It didn't matter if it's Diaz or Aki or Akanji.
It's a deflection.
Now it's two deflections, man. But where you have to look at it is that, like I said, the fact is, I've seen many a team give up at that point, right? Arsenal did what? Look, City won the league last season because we didn't give up and we kept fighting. Even the season before against Villa when we were 2-0 down. I have to give Arsenal props for keeping going and for Trossard having the shot. Deflections happen. It was bad, but we can't say if another player was on the pitch, it was a deflection. Like simple as that. I can't say that.
Jay Nelson cannot stay fit. Every time he starts to look good, he's out for a few weeks. Love from Toronto. Thank you so much, my man. Can't wait for the member panel shows. We're waiting for you, Jay. We'll actually start.
It's gonna start when the season starts. So not next week. The week.
The week after.
Next week. This time next week.
Next week. So we'll be messaging a few of you. So stay tuned in these shows, and we'll be announcing the names like on screen. So if you get the name, you don't, because we don't know your details. So if you're going,
people have to show initiative that you want to be on the show.
Yeah. Of course you do. But you have to say some names first come first serve. If not, then you get your name ticked off the list. It's easy as that.
Yes.
I'm trying to think of some other talking points for City, to be honest.
So can we? Let me do this.
I think
can I do this as well? Just who wants to be the next Roy Jennings? Come on, I really don't understand the super chat. So
is that
can you elaborate?
The long hair that just has to say something mad. Like he's the one that said Haaland needs to respect the Premier League and this, that, and the other before, and then Haaland scores like 50 odd goals. And he also said something else that was mad recently. Basically, the guy's a flipping tin pot idiot like Minerals FC. That's all I'm gonna say.
So is he saying?
Varon, a new member. Thank you so much for being a member. Go ahead, guys. I really, if you can explain the super chat.
No, I don't know if he's. I'm trying to think who wants to. The way he put the come on at the end is like did someone make a wild? I don't know if it's maybe at the other super chat saying Salah and Kane are going to get 35 goals or something.
No, I think he's talking about the Salah or Kane to make 35 goals.
That's not Rory. We have a whole Mo on this show.
No, I think with City.
What does that mean?
The De Bruyne penalty, by the way, he's lucky at the crossbar with that one.
Yeah.
think-
Do you know what,
I thought
Daps? I'll be
it was
real
going
with you.
even higher.
I'll be real with you. Nothing to be worried about. I look at City, like you said, they've lost 2 previous community shields. I thought you actually played well in terms of you're not really had a preseason, 2 or 3 games. Like I said to Tosin, you're warming up. The fact that you played like that today, we all know you're going to get better. I feel like rival fans are in that position where we don't need to say much because we just know what City are going to do. You become so consistent. No one can chat shit to you. It's simple as that. I'm just that's the truth of what it is.
Yeah.
And you guys are going to be ready next week for Burnley, and your tap's going to get switched on, and then you rock on from there. Really.
Oh yeah, I'm not worried, but at the same time,
I think you just need to be more clinical today because when you were 1-0 up, the game was there. Like you had the chances, kill it. That's it.
Yeah, 100%.
You'll probably only say for City.
I think Pep will probably look at it and he'll go, yeah, like we've got to look at the last two competitive City games were today and were Inter Milan in the Champions League final, and in both of them, Foden came on and played at 8 role, right? And in both of them, Foden looked good in the 8 role, which is something that we've always thought he looked good in, but it's good to see him actually looking good in it. For me to go, okay, I do see the positives that Foden, and the way it wasn't just the way he turned Party, it was the way the minute he turned him, he drove straight forward. Boom! I know where I'm going with this, and that is with Gundogan going. It's so important that we have that because we have to be clear. The loss of Gundogan is massive. Like the loss of Gundogan's huge. So to have someone that can come in and do that is very important. So I'm happy to see that.
Can I ask you something, Daps, quickly? Actually, I have got a question. So Haaland obviously is going to come in and score a lot of goals. Gundogan, you just mentioned it. Funny enough, I was about to say he has scored probably. I feel like he's always got 10 plus Premier League goals.
And he's clutch.
So he's clutch. The only question I have, and I'm not saying it's a concern, I don't know yet. Do you feel like you've got enough goal scorers in your team now?
So let me be clear with this, right? So the Mahrez situation, that's one because Mahrez also contributes. So he's gone. We saw today that Cole Palmer can. Cole Palmer is, I remember his first goal in the Carabao Cup was he just put his foot through it where many other people would have passed. So Cole Palmer can, but he's not Mahrez. So I still do think we're there. But if we're talking Gundogan in particular, Kovacic will not contribute with as many goals as Gundogan. But if we're looking at Foden in the 8 role, well, Foden scored 15 goals this season. Foden's played false 9 the season before. Foden gets goals. So if it's Foden doing it, absolutely, we can get those goals. Yeah, there's an echo.
Yeah, the echo.
Je ne sais pas.
Do. Oh, it's done.
Yeah, cool.
I was tossing. There you go. Yeah.
It's gone.
Yeah. No, that's going to be interesting. That's the only question I have going into the season.
Though?
Yeah, will City get enough goals from elsewhere?
How did you do
that? Yeah. Should Tottenham? Should go on to Tottenham like Kane and Maddison and that?
Yeah, I just wanted to touch up on that because I don't put touched on Man United because I just end up cussing Maguire. Even if it's a B team, that's just unforgivable.
How did you watch the game? Wasn't it at the same time?
It was.
I've got there's something called a device called.
No, like I would focus on that. To be honest,
I wasn't really focusing. It was a B team. I wasn't really focused about but in respect to Tobes here, clearly, this is what Memphis is saying. Oh, hi Cass. Wow, is that Tobes? Yeah, it is. Why not? It's Tobes, it's Tosin. So whichever one you want to call him, I'm pretty sure you prefer Tosin. So it's Tosin.
And his channel's in the description, so go and subscribe.
Yeah, man. Respect him. The Tottenham stuff, and I know people might start saying I'm just doing a Rory Jennings here, but if they keep Kane, they have a real shout for top 4, man. And I'm not saying it that they're not really gonna nail on and go get the top 4 because I don't know if I believe in the defense too much. But with 1 game a week to focus on, we have to put the same energy we do for Chelsea, because they got 1 game a week, and I'll do it for Tottenham. If they keep Kane and keep Maddison, Kulusevski in an attacking football lineup with Son in an attacking football lineup, yes, they will lead goals. But remember, scoring goals was never Tottenham's massive issue. And I can't lie, this might be the first time where you see someone like Kane not having to drop back and just stay in where he's the most dangerous.
It's just a defense. For me, it's just Tottenham's defense. I think if they sort out the defense, then we'll see.
That's if he stays.
Yeah, we're still.
Yeah, it's no point even talking it for too long. But it's just, I'm just saying, man. It's just, I saw some good stuff.
I'll tell you what, though. The one thing I will say on this Maddison Kane link up is it could make Southgate look a bit silly.
Yeah,
if that man start cooking,
talent, man.
then it's like it. But if they really cook, then it's going to give Southgate a headache, because how can he continue to not play Maddison if Kane and Maddison start cooking for Tottenham? So
I do like. Do you know what? If they did keep Kane, I'll be right. I do like the balance of the front four. Like, I feel like Son's like their Rashford with that the runs in behind, the more speedy output. Kulusevski creative from the right hand side. Maddison can do a bit of everything, and Kane's just a goal scoring creator. So if they do keep that four, I'm not going to sit there and say, oh, when we go to Spurs second game of the season, I'm not thinking they can score goals. They definitely can. And like I was saying earlier, with Bentancur to come back, he was sick before the injury for them. And if they get the midfield of Basuma, Bentancur, Maddison cooking, that's still another good midfield. So like Daps is saying, it is the defense really, and whether Spurs will be able to play the ball. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and it's just whether.
Italy. Mentally good.
Yeah, Doji. Yeah. Obviously coming from Udinese as well. And the only thing is Spurs fans need to realize is that you've gone from a Mourinho, you had a Nuno Esposito, you've had Antonio Conte. The manager you've got now, the manager you've got now is like a football manager. He plays proper attacking football, like he wants to get the ball moving around. You guys have got to now like change your mentality and allow an adjustment period, because you're going from defensive football and counter-attacking to now wanting to control games. So allow it to sort of cook. But I do think Ange is going to be that type of manager that seems like he'll get it right. And do you know what as well, which I think is a little thing that can go a long way? The way he speaks in his interviews, the way he comes across. He's a man that knows his job, and also he isn't going to take no crap. If you don't want to be around there and you don't want to linger, he's not just going to say, oh, because you're a good player, you can linger around. No, he wants the right attitude there. So I feel like he could potentially get the balance right there, which Spurs have been needing, man. So if they keep Kane, then they've got a great front four. And I'll be honest, if they do get rid of Kane, then Richarlison, you start for Brazil as the number 9. This is your year to try and step up and show Spurs fans that you can be a serious man, or if not, you're going to be a squad man for while you're there. Simple as that.
And the last part, Daps' vape is back. He says it's like seeing toes without the severe, debilitating depression that comes with supporting Spurs. Puts a smile on my face. Big up Tosin.
It's true, actually,
Yeah, man. And obviously, big up Toast for jumping on as well, man. Big up, man.
Good debut.
Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate that.
And everyone, make sure you check out his channel. It's in the description. Fleet-footed. And it's pinned. Go and give it a subscription right now and boost him up. I know there's a lot of Arsenal fans in here. Listen,
exactly.
Go and support your boy, please.
And with 32 likes of 700, we're talking records here. We're talking records. Do you want us to beat the record of how many likes we got in one show?
No,
live?
They probably don't.
Exactly, man. And then tomorrow we're going to be back as well, myself and Mo. And I think maybe around 3 o'clock. But I'm going to be on Sav's channel before that, so watch out. It's going to take you to that channel now, so you guys can check that out. Which will just be general football talk, and hopefully everyone's blessed. And yeah, man, enjoy Monday, because I won't.